successions. Now Daesh, the structure of Daesh from 30 countries from Europa, from United States, France, England, and what happened in France yesterday from members of Daesh. So now the impact on them, now we are not happy by this, but we are telling it to them, you supported Daesh, you militarized Daesh.
There you go.
And now
there you go, it's your turn.
now it is going back
to you again.
The
it's
impact to you will be much more dangerous
so the monster
in the coming weeks. Today in the morning, France, there's 2 events also. So now they try to re-engineer and make a cutting in the Middle East area. Now it is the second inverse wave. The second inverse wave is going now on them. So this will unify not only the Arab countries, but the European countries, United States, all the world, the Arab countries against terrorism. And I expect that the battle against terrorism will not continue more than 1 year, but the United States is willing to continue for 3 or more than 3 years in the battle. So it is too difficult and it is too surprising from their
and hopefully
side.
It will be taking place here in Egypt. Dr. Aref, what about the political aspect of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's visit to Kuwait and the Saudi initiative to reach a reconciliation between the Arab countries, especially between Egypt and Qatar?
If we are going to speak about the political impact of this visit, we also have to make some correlation in between the visit to China, the visit to Arab countries.
Yeah, we're going to go to the
new industrialization.
We're going to see the
Middle
significance
East
of the
area
president's visit
from
to China.
Cheap industry sources.
Yes.
Because now if you have less amount of money, because the price of dollar, the excess amounts of petrodollars now is reduced, you have the China industry more cheap than the Western industry. So if they are coming and supported from Soviet Union with the Arab money and the working hand, or the working force from Egypt, we can start a new target in military direction.
Dr. Aref, this brings me, what are going to be the impact on the developments in 2015 regarding the significance of President Sisi's visit?
Because
well, as you were saying, we're talking about China, and we also wanted to mention the significance of President Sisi's visit to China and its significance on the impacts of development in 2015.
So I mentioned that there is a correlation, a good relation, strong relation in between his visit to China and his visit to Kuwait. And I expect that there will be as soon as possible a short visit to Saudi Arabia, also to Emirates. There will be maybe this month, maybe the next month, but I think before the economic summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, there will be some other visits to Gulf area, because we have to rebuild the new relations, new brother relations in between Egypt and the Gulf countries and Arabic countries also in the Western, in Africa. This will be based on developing economic investment and industrialization of the area, because the project of Suez Canal area, there is an expectation, high expectation by a lot of investment from the Arabic countries, Gulf countries, to be in this area.
Yes, but do you think that there will be a change between Egypt and Qatar during the bilateral ties between both countries or not?
I think the bilateral relation in between Egypt and the Qatar now is going in a refinery stage, and there will be a hope, a good hope, that because I know some of the Qatar friends, they are expecting more and more building on this good relations, but it needs some time. It needs some time, and I can give an answer. because this question was raised many times, which is better for Egypt, which is better for Qatar, to leave Qatar in the pocket of United States, or to catch Qatar and to bring it home to the Arab countries as a friend, as a brother. This is much more better. To lose Qatar to United States, it is a big mistake. To catch Qatar, to bring it from the pocket of the United States to the Arab countries, it is much more and much more good to Egypt, to Qatar, and this will be one of the good things to Mr. Sisi, Mr. President Sisi. He mentioned not only for Qatar, but also for Turkey, that he will give no comment about the bad statements of Mr. Erdogan or the Qatar or the Turkish statements on so. He is a polite man. He is working towards certain target. He knows the way, and he is going in this way. You know that Mr. Sisi, Mr. President Sisi, as I know, was on the top of the military security council.
Yes.
So, and he's a part from the security of Egypt. He knows everything. He did a lot of trials and studied many games in these directions, how to attack, how to penetrate, and he knows his way, and we try, all of us, we have to introduce the support for him. Really, I myself, I gave a lot of lectures in the theory of games to a number of military leaders.
Yes.
In the 17.5, 17.6, 17.7, I was giving lectures in the operation research and the military games using operation research. The rebuilding of our military army now started not from this year, but from 74 and before, because the previous time was for the war of 73.
Yes.
But after this, there is a rebuilding of the Egyptian army on a scientific base, and how to use the modern sciences in the army, and how to use in the thinking. The theory of games, there is the political game. The theory of games, there is an economic game. There is a military game. So and we have to play by everything against our enemy, Israel. Israel is now trying many things. Israel tried in Ethiopia, and in the last summit, African summit, Mr. President Sisi, when he met with the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, he put a good base for renewing the good relation, the economic relation, the developing relation, the right of Ethiopia, the right of Egypt, and it is
specifically when it comes
an
to the Nile watershed
game.
Yeah.
We have to benefit, they have to benefit. Otherwise, Israel is playing the dirty game in Ethiopia, in Africa as a whole, and we have to care about this. We have to care about the United States. They are playing a game to be the master of the world, not only the master of the area, the world as a whole. So now we are trying to bring Soviet Union beside us, to bring China beside us.
Dr. Aref, again related to the European, I'm going to ask you a question related to President Sisi's tour in Europe. That was in last November 2014. When he just was appointed as a president, he started visiting Italy, France, and the Vatican, and he met His Holiness Pope Francis at the Vatican.
In the visit of Mr. Sisi to Italy and France,
yes,
there was a lot of agreements,
exactly.
signed agreements.
Yeah, I just want to know
in the direction of economic.
I'm just going to say how you're going to analyze this tour, basically.
Yes, this visit was very important. The very important visits to Italy and France. You know that France, Italy, there is some military agreements signed in between, some economic agreements. The peace, the security of Mediterranean Sea area as a whole, because France and Italy in front of Libya, and they have an upper hand in Libya also. They have a lot of investment in Libya. So they have to defend this investment, their money in Libya. In Libya, the very important, dangerous area and borders.
Dr. Aref Desouky, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have run out of time. Dr. Aref Desouky, the political analyst, thank you very much for being with us today on Nile Cruise. And of course, we'll be going out for a quick break, so stay tuned.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.